All right, it's now 7 o'clock. I'd like to call the meeting to order. We are in the Roxbury Town Hall for the regular Board of Selectmen meeting, May 2nd, 2023. We had the regular minutes, approval of minutes, regular meeting on April 4th, 2023. Looking for a motion to approve those.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of April 24th.
Excellent.
Second.
Perfect. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Carries. Communications from the public. We're going to keep this to 2 minutes per person. If we have any communications from the public, be my guest. Go ahead.
For the record, Joe Quaranta, 1 Judge Bridge.
Thank you.
First, over the past several months while attending Board of Selectmen meetings, I've noticed that we no longer say the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm not sure when or why that stopped, but I'm requesting that it be reinitiated into town meetings. The Pledge of Allegiance is a way for us to express our sense of patriotism as well as our loyalty to the United States. Second, I've been following the town of Roxbury's municipal budget for many years. This year specifically, I have been following more closely than usual as a result of our unique post-COVID economic times. On March 23rd at 9 a.m., the Board of Selectmen held a special meeting listing budget workshop in section 2B. At this meeting, there was in fact no workshop, but a presentation of the first selectmen's developed budget. The presented documents were voted on and approved unanimously by the board. Interested, I called the town clerk and asked for the supporting documents presented at the meeting, and I was told that they were not available. After a FOIA request, I received the documents from the town attorney outlining that the documents had been presented, voted on, and approved were incomplete. How do we vote on an incomplete document? Following the meeting, the next leg of the process was a Board of Finance special meeting held on April 11th at 7 p.m. presenting what the Board of Selectmen approved on March 23rd at 9 a.m. Interested in the documents, I searched with
15 seconds.
Could not find them, so I decided to request them through the Freedom of Information. What I learned was the documents presented at the Board of Finance were different documents from what was voted on at the March 23rd Board of Selectmen meeting.
Thanks, Joe.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
Yes,
Go
sure.
for it. Go for it.
In an email to our first selectman, I asked if any other meetings of the Board of Selectmen had taken place between the meetings, and I was told no. Between meeting on March 23rd and April 11th, the approved document had been edited, changed, making the budget documents presented to the Board of Finance an unapproved document. Following the April 11th Board of Finance meeting, 2 additional budget meetings and a public hearing using the unapproved documents commenced. The end result was a special Board of Finance meeting on April 24th at 7. The board voted and approved to send $5,308,794 to town meeting public referendum. Unfortunately, this special meeting was also labeled improperly and had no mention of a vote on the budget. All said and done, the Roxbury, Connecticut operating budget will increase 17.17% over 2 years if approved at referendum. The capital improvement budget will increase $155.45 percent over 2 years if approved at referendum, leaving us with a combined budgetary increase of 25.75%. I'd like to point out that if the budget process is skewed and contains several potential FOIA violations, the bare minimum requirement to keep the public informed. As a result, this puts the entire budgetary process at risk. As many of you know, there is a steady decline in post-COVID home buying. There is also a steady incline on interest rates. Yes, there was a grandless growth adding in the lower of the mill rate, but that is coming to an end as new home construction declines and newly acquired large landowners put their land in trust and conservation. As a result, we will be left with a monumental budgetary increase. Lastly, in closing, because of the town of Roxbury's new administration has been turning over stones like never before, I have been paying more attention to zoning and planning. February 13th, the zoning commission made sweeping changes to the zoning code. The meeting was deemed illegal for obvious FOIA violation and will be redone May 11th. To adopt a multitude of state statutes in regards to housing, we are being told it's mandatory. That is not true. The 2020 Plan of Conservation and Development and the approved Roxbury, Connecticut Affordable Housing Plan strongly focuses on
All right.
housing affordability for middle
Thank you,
and
Meredith.
lower income families. Nowhere in the
Thank you,
hundreds of
Meredith.
documents
Thank you,
that I
Meredith.
have reviewed that there are
Thank
mention
you.
of keeping.
Meredith, you're
the
disrupting a public
mechanism to
meeting.
Not only invite, but retain those.
If you
fair
don't
and
stop,
right
I'm
kinds
gonna
of
call the
maximization. You
police.
can call whoever you'd like. To find
Well,
the
then I'm
maximum
leaving
increases in
because you're
tax-
disrupting this
Bye,
meeting.
Russ.
Actually, we can.
Frankly, hypercritical
What?
to all the above mentioned plans and hope moving forward, this governing body recognizes that
No respect.
taxation plays a
None.
tremendous role
We
in the
can,
future
You don't deserve to
demographics.
live here.
I do deserve to
No,
live
you
here and I
don't.
pay my taxes. Thank you very
Right.
much for attacking me, Russ. Given your past, you should probably not attack a woman.
We can.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay.
As a taxpayer in this town, and I've been in this town for 17
So
years,
we can.
I have a right to go over 30 seconds. Thank you very much. And I do not have the right to be yelled at by anyone, especially you. Russ.
You're yelling at me.
You raised your
Okay.
voice at me. and
Let's
As
move
a
on with the meeting.
selectman, you have
Okay.
no right to yell at the public.
Any other public comment?
So please move on.
Okay, we're gonna move on then. Thank you.
Yeah,
Next item on the agenda, tax collectors report. I got the report from Kim. There's nothing to report. We have no refunds to issue at this point. Next on the Board of Selectmen, Commissioners and Board appointments.
I have,
Go ahead.
I'd like to say something about that.
Go ahead. Yes.
I just wanted to say that we are fortunate that filling these vacancies has not been time sensitive. So
Okay.
we've had time, which has been great. Our Board of Selectmen meetings have been busy, especially between the car show and the budget season. And that's taken up quite a bit of time. But I think I can speak for all of us and say how grateful we are to all those who've expressed an interest in serving the town as we go to this. It's nice to have
I
a
would
big
agree.
list that we can now move forward and approve.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, first vacancy, Conservation Commission alternate vacancy expiring 6/30/2023. Looking for a nomination for a great volunteer in the town, Ed Roz.
I make a motion to appoint Ed Ross to Conservation Commission alternate.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Russ. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Passes. Okay, now we have all the special constables. So Special Constable RC 88, term would run from the 3rd of May until September 30th. For RC 88, once again, volunteered Kurt Yovan. Can I get a motion to approve Kurt?
I'll make a motion to approve Kurt as a special constable.
I don't know.
Thank you.
I second.
All right, thank you, Kim. Next, Special Constable, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it passes. Next, Special Constable RC 90. This one, agreed again, Barbara Henry. I'd like to get a nomination for Barbara Henry.
I make a motion to appoint Barbara Henry, Special Constable RC 90.
Thank you, Kim.
Second.
Thank you, Russ. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Special Constable RC 91. I'm going to make the motion to nominate Russ Dorenzo.
I
Get a second. Thank you, Kim.
I'll abstain.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Special Constable RC 92. This is filling the position from John Hopkins, and I just want to thank him for doing an amazing job. He no longer lives in the community, but he wrote more tickets than anybody in history. I think, it was over $1,500 a year. He would just write in tickets monitoring Chase Park and the Falls area. But now I'd like to look for a recommendation for Sarah Foreman.
I nominate Sarah Foreman, Special Constable RC 90.
Second.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Russ. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes. RC 93, Special Constable, Jim Conway has signed up again. So
Great.
for a nomination for Jim Conway.
I'll make a nomination.
Thank you, Russ.
Second.
Thank you, Kim. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Special Constable RC 94, Art A Tunes.
I nominate Art A. Tunes for special constable.
Excellent. In a second.
Second.
Thank you, Russ. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And it passes. Special Constable RC 95, May 3rd through September 30th. John Cody.
I'll make a motion for John Cody as special counsel.
Excellent. Second.
Second,
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Special Constable RC 96, Meg Tinsley.
I nominate Meg Tinsley.
Thank you, Kim. Second.
Second.
Excellent. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Special Constable RC 97, Paul Swanson.
I'll make a motion to nominate Paul Swanson for special counsel.
Second,
Excellent. And then Special Constable RC 98, I'm going to
yes.
abstain.
I'll make a motion to, for Patrick Roy, special constable RC 98.
I'll second.
Excellent. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, those
Can you
pass.
explain to the public what special constable is in the duty?
We're good. We're good.
Okay.
They write tickets at parks. That's the people that actually give out the town tickets. Park rangers.
Park rangers. Okay, got it.
All right, so we had interest in finding out more about PFAS. So based on our last Board of Selectmen meeting, I reached out to Donna at the Newtown Health District and asked for her professional advice and opinion, and she did supply a wonderful letter in consultation with the Connecticut Department of Public Health and reviewing the state published information regarding PFAS in Connecticut. The text below is offered to help answer questions, concerns regarding PFAS. In summary, at this time, Roxbury does not have known or suspected probable sources of PFAS, and as such, PFAS testing is not broadly recommended. Such a generalization does not conclude that there is no PFAS in drinking water wells that exceed action levels. However, it is the reasonable basis for making or not making recommendations. The Newtown Health District continues to monitor the evolving nature of PFAS in the environment and will post and share information as it becomes available. So there was a couple questions that were answered. So we have an answer for Donna, and I thank her for her professional advice. Okay, so next is the annual meeting on May 16th. So we will be going over the budget at that time. We also have the delay ordinance that was previously approved that needs to go to town meeting. And then we will have the budget vote at that time. You guys have the copies of the annual report, and I'm pretty pleased
Yeah, this is great.
and honored to dedicate this annual report to Peter Philos and Andy Engel for
Yeah.
all their public service. Once again, they were great assets to this town and are truly missed.
That's very nice.
What time's the annual meeting?
7 o'clock. Yep, on the 16th. All right, so I had a resident that has, actually, you can probably throw these pictures up if you'd like, that has a suggestion for the porta potties at Apple Lane. So if you look, they were up in Maine. This is Arthur Weinshank, and he actually said that he would be willing to donate some fence panels. So this is kind of one of those enclosures. I happened to see when I was talking about it earlier at the Bridgewater boat launch, which is all wood that I think
Oh.
looks good.
Right.
I'm not a huge fan of the vinyl, especially in that area. Could you go to the next pictures?
Sure.
So what it is, just a 3-side enclosure. They have it on a frame, on a base frame. We wouldn't need to do that. Can you keep going? Because I want to get to the park picture. It's probably either 1 or 4.
No, it's one, the one that shows the electrical
Yes.
panel.
Yes.
Yes, we already went by it. Yeah.
Okay, so that right there is the back of the electric service. And what I'm thinking of doing is kind of adding on fence panel wings to a structure that's already there. Chatfields, it's not particularly attractive. We did get rid of the bush, and the bush was problematic.
How is that?
So that's the service for the pavilion. That's the electric service. But it's kind of an eyesore to begin with. And if we had some nice shadow box fencing or something that
Good
would
idea.
be wood, I would Yeah, there was a resident that brought it up. A resident has offered to pay for the panels. I feel that we could afford it in our park budget to do the right thing. I'm glad that they brought it up, but I feel that it's the town's responsibility to make, that not be as ugly and
Yep, it's a nice one for sure.
conceal the porta potty that's literally out in the parking lot.
It is awkward.
And the reason why it's there is the bathrooms aren't always open from when they start their road races till when they end the road races. So it needs to be there. It is actually, they have some compensation through the state that's actually allowed, but we can definitely make it more attractive instead of sitting in the parking lot. So I'm going to suggest that we put some fences on the side to enclose the area, and we kind of move forward. Any comments or suggestions really on
So just-
what I'm thinking?
Questions about, getting a truck in to clean it or to deliver it.
Okay,
or
so
move it.
basically
I mean,
where I'm standing, I am standing right at the opening.
At the opening.
Where the chain link fence is, so you could
okay.
literally back right in
Yeah, all
and they
right,
could pump it out. It wouldn't be, literally, it's just a chain that you have to unlatch.
Right.
So it's not limiting. I already called Chatfields. They said, yeah, that's no problem, as long as we know where it is and we can get in.
Yep.
And there's no access problems at all. Just, it's literally just on the other side of the sidewalk and the opening.
so we'd have the opening this way?
What I'm literally thinking is coming off from that on either side and have the porta potty right kind of in the middle facing this direction. So you
Facing
wouldn't
the-
see it from the park. You really wouldn't see it from the parking lot.
Okay, so you'd see,
You would see it from the pavilion. I mean, you could change it again where it, faces the other way if you wrap two sides. If you wanted to do that. Again, I'm open to suggestions. That's not a particularly great looking structure, was my thought.
yeah, right. So you're thinking it would open to the pavilion? Just-
Yes,
okay.
so what I would be
Yeah.
looking at, I know
Yeah.
this is being recorded, you're not gonna see this part of it, my apologies. But I was literally gonna come up with a post out here and
Yeah.
a post out here.
Yeah.
And just kind of conceal it more in there.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be an eyesore.
I think that's better.
And it would get the porta potty out from the parking lot, which
Yeah.
is nice. And people do utilize it. I was over there at 6:00, 6:30 this morning. And there were people out there running and stuff. And they did say, I was kind of taking pictures this morning. And somebody stopped me and said, that was a great idea. You should do that. So I was kind of trying to
Oh.
get feedback from the people that were actually exercising with their animals in the morning. Okay, so
I think it's
What
a
do you
great
think?
idea. It's because that's really ugly.
okay, and we could
Yeah.
do it out of the parks budget. But and we're also, I did meet, just for the record, with David Gardner, who was our old tree warden and take care of a lot of these trees and grooming.
Right,
A lot of that stuff hasn't been done because he did it. And the new maintenance people do not take care of those. So I met with Shane about the park itself, and I've had some complaints about the volcano mulch, how it's not healthy for the trees. So they're going to address that. They're
okay,
going to be doing tree trimming that hasn't been done in about 3 years.
okay,
So it'll be at the park, town hall and the firehouse and these buildings around, as well as the senior center.
good idea.
But nobody ever really took care of the maintenance of the trees, some of the, trimming back of the hydrangeas. I spent a couple hours, and I thank David Gardner for spending the time, and put it all in an email of what gets trimmed when. And I went over it with our maintenance people, but it was more of a misunderstanding of nobody knew who was doing it, and it was never assigned. Other than lawn and mulch, there's maintenance that needs to be done on these trees, and it is beautiful, so I want to keep it
Right.
that way.
Yeah, it's so much better without, I mean, it'll be nice when there's some plantings there, but, I would use the park and be really, uncertain of what was on the other side of it. I couldn't see the kids playing, and
It was, yeah.
it's just nice having it open again, as it used to be.
Mhm.
I remember before they, all those bushes.
I agree, and the
grew up.
grass is, you can barely see it, but the grass is starting to come in, and
Yep.
it'll be nice soon.
No, it's good.
It'll be nice soon.
I think it's great.
Okay, so any more discussion on that? Okay, perfect. Transfer station. So we are back to transfer station and park permits. I just wanted to roll out what we had talked about last year. So transfer station permits are $50 pre-sale for the month of June. July 1st and thereafter, it's $75. We are going to be selling them at the transfer station every Saturday for the month of June. and July, same as we did last year. And permits available during the week are available at Town Hall. Do you guys want to discuss the rates, or are you good with keeping them all the same? I think we kind of beat that last year, and
Yeah,
I'm pretty pleased with it. Okay,
we should raise them because garbage is getting expensive, but
I know it is.
people
And,
pay tax and.
you know, to your point, some things we're just going to lose money on as a town, but it's a service we provide. And I think that was kind of my talking point all this year, comment that you made last year, and I thought that it was appropriate. And then for park permits, which is something different, that's the rectangular permit. Those are $45 for out of town residents and free for residents. So anybody can get a park permit.
Right.
All right. Okay, so we'll keep those the same. And like I said, every Saturday during the month of June and July, they'll be available right at the transfer station.
So who's gonna, is it during the whole time that he's open?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And it's the
Alright.
same person that we had,
Right,
Melanie,
So it'll be that
who did a
entire,
great job.
yeah,
We didn't get a lot of them during the Wednesday and Thursday, and that's why we kind of pulled away from that.
Right.
Saturdays is when people want them. And we figured since the town hall was open Wednesday and Thursday, if there was that straggler or somebody that wanted to get it right away, they could simply come down here because we're open during those times. Okay, and then, okay, so that's for that. Budget capital expense updates. The loader is done. If you've been up at the transfer station.
Yep.
Yeah,
It was fantastic. I was up there
great.
on Earth Day, and people were looking it over, and there were pictures on Facebook that somebody put. I put it in the newsletter, which was nice. And speaking of that, Earth Day was a great success.
it was.
Over half the roads in the town were covered. We far exceeded last year, and that was exciting, especially since we started off in the rain.
It was busy, I mean, because I was with
It was great. It was
Susan
great.
and Patrick for a
Yeah.
good part of the day, and I just couldn't get over how many people were coming in and stopping and participating and coming back with the trash. I even did some tick checks on some people. They were like, "Oh my God, help me!" So it was, yeah, it was a great day.
I think the message that I got from it is, and I've seen people out since then, is, you know, it's a continuing thing. And I just want to thank all the walkers and all that patrol our roads on a daily basis, because it does make a difference.
Yeah, and that was a biggie, because
Yeah.
people kept saying, "Well, I do this all the time." I said, "Great, that means that road
Absolutely.
done. So we
Absolutely.
got to mark it off, and they just will continue on their
And,
weekly
you know,
walks.
if people said that they
Right.
couldn't do it that day, like, okay, tomorrow or next week, I don't know, just get the road clean. Like,
Right.
that's the moral of the story. And everybody
Right.
was great with that. They're like, oh, we'll do it this week. So it was nice. Okay, so that was that. So the loader was great. Albert's pretty happy. Down at Public Works, we can finished the second floor loft. It's built, the wall is there, the shelving's in place, and it just got painted, as a matter of fact, today. So you'll have pictures in this week's email. Next big projects, we have the elevator repairs to complete at the senior center. That's going to be done by Public Works. And then we're going to start working on a design for Bacon Road culverts, which have to be done this year.
Yeah, those are the ones that you,
Right,
yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
know, I remember.
I know. It's
gotta
still
get
on my
those
list. I will say that the Friday before last, we did the rumble strips that were a talking point. Because it was done before Earth Day, I got a lot of feedback, and people were very, very pleased with, even though the small areas that we did, there were certain areas that were just getting hit every single time. And we addressed those areas, and people were just overjoyed thanking them.
And I saw a resident today at the store, you know,
Yeah.
for grocery shopping, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, it's just made a world of difference."
It did,
Yeah.
it did. I was very happy to do that.
And the other areas really aren't hit much.
No, because
Not
of the
as much.
straightaways, not as much.
They do
And,
get hit, but not, yeah,
I mean,
not like those
I
corners.
can hear it from my house, and I barely hear it anymore, which is
So
exciting.
going down the hill, the road's frosty, you know.
I know.
Yeah,
Well, we had talked about that with it's kind of pointless to do it before the bridge. The bridge is going to be done in 25, and they're going to be ripping up everything, and we're going to
Right.
have big trucks coming through. So the plan is to repave that road in 26.
Right.
That's the plan.
But now we're not gonna, yeah, because be a waste.
That's why we
Right.
held off, because
It's
of
kind
the,
of like rumple strips in the middle of the road.
no, I know it's
Yeah,
rippling as it's
it
going
is.
down, and it's not terrible. I've been on
It's not
some,
terrible,
but I can feel it. I know it. I
Yeah.
can
Right.
see it, and it needs to be that, because of the way it's ripping down. It literally needs to be rebuilt. And we need to do it correctly, and that's gonna not be a chip seal project, that's gonna be a repaving project. But it's best that we wait until after the bridge.
Yeah, and all that traffic,
For that.
you know,
Yeah, and okay, just a note, by the way, the millings that we took from grinding down the rumble strips repaired one of the aprons at the park on Apple Lane.
oh, yeah,
I wouldn't let them take that.
Recycle.
We recycled. So we wanted to see how it would work. So if you guys go to the park, check the upper apron, because it's amazing. I was out there today and I was looking at it. It's holding together and now it's not going to wash out. So I wanted to do it as a test to see if we could put more millings here and there. So I'd like to finish that other apron. And also down at the bottom of Weller's Bridge Road where those pull-offs are, those
Yes.
gullies are getting really, really bad. And I
Yep.
think millings might be a good answer for there.
yeah, I think because they get used constantly,
I know, people
Yeah.
making phone calls or whatever,
Right.
they do
which
sit there a
happily
lot.
they're pulling over to do that, so,
Yeah,
yeah.
Now, the
Correct.
survey markers by Century Road, is the state planning on,
no,
what is all that?
no, they said if we wanted to, we could excavate the side of the hill as a town.
Okay,
And I flat out refused. I said, if you feel it's an issue,
but
the
there's a
state needs
bunch
to
of
do it.
surveys there now.
Yeah, they were looking at it. They put out some stakes, but there's no plan to do anything. What they've answered is, I got the sign package after asking for the boat to be straightened, and now they're going to repave with a different kind of pavement that's anti-skid. But they're not correct. The problem is they're not correcting
It's
the
too narrow.
visibility issues. It's
Right.
too narrow. It's a blind. There's no visibility. There's no sight line
Yep.
on that road, and it's going to continue to be an issue. And once we take out Weller's Bridge, the traffic is going to be,
Horrendous.
it will be.
Yeah.
And I will give Bill Horrigan props for reaching out and pushing this through the DOT, but I feel he's probably just as frustrated as I was when you get to the end of all this and after communications and they make a ruling that's not, not
Get
what
a
you were
rep
hoping for.
involved Or senator,
We've tried, we
Really?
are, and
Even
that's
they-
why we've got attention, and that's where Bill's jumping in, and it's
Mhm,
tough. It's tough. The whole process with the state is slow,
mhm.
and they're definitely frustrating. And next thing was chip sealing, Tofit. It's going to be done, basically all of it, Gold Mine to Painter and Gold Mine to 317, Battle Swamp and Botsford Hill all the way up to Keeler. So basically to the town line. So those are going to be done. And that's all I have for capital.
And do you know when those will approximately, that will be done?
Within the next month.
Oh, okay,
Within the next month. There'll be
Alright.
signs, all that
okay,
as well. Next, fire marshal report. It's the May 2023 report. The office is assisting zoning and animal control officer in gaining access for possible hoarding of animal issues. They're continuing to investigate that. The office is also assisting 2 property owners, one with an alarm issue and one with a gate issue, hopefully to resolve this month. Chief Wheeler has been working with a reporting system so that it is current and being submitted to the National Incident Fire Reporting System by the Fire Marshal's office. And the town hall, town garage, and firehouse inspections will be done in the month of May.
okay,
For our resident trooper report, 1 criminal, non-criminal investigation, 2 accidents, 10 infractions, 39 written warnings, and 259 miscellaneous requests for service. And
what
that-
were most of the written warnings for 39?
Usually speeding. Yeah, almost all they're speeding. There's been a lot more patrols. Now we're running 12, 13 shifts a week. So you're going to see a lot more presence
Mhm.
on our roads. And they understand that we have certain areas that are cut throughs like Squire and Weller's Bridge,
Yep.
Davenport, and there's some areas that they know. I was actually just talking to our officer who had stopped a young kid doing 71 miles an hour. And we were just talking about that today, about the speed that some of these people are traveling on. So it's good to have representation out on the streets, and especially putting more troops than we've ever seen on our roads. Because I think that's the biggest things. Take that away.
yeah, I was talking to a resident who said they were so excited because they just drove by and one morning and it was a police officer pulled over someone, for speeding. They're like,
I know.
So they're-
And, with presence, hopefully people start slowing down, or at least they have, once you see somebody, now you know that there's somebody could be there.
Mhm.
All right, and that's all I have for Fire Marshal Resident Trooper report. We do have executive session. I have no need for executive session tonight. Do you guys have any need for executive session tonight?
No.
Okay, then I'd like to skip that off the menu. Any other business?
No,
I have none. All right, that's all I have.
good.
Motion to
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
all in favor, or any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Okay.